Have you ever wondered how some people manage to find strength in their deepest sorrows? It's a question that many of us have asked. How do they rise above the heartbreak, the disappointments, the failures, and the losses that life throws their way? How do they not merely survive but thrive, despite the pain? Maybe you've pondered this question in the quiet moments of your own life when the world seems too heavy to bear. Perhaps you've looked at your own wounds and wondered, how can I find healing here? How can I move forward from this? The answer may lie not in human strength alone, but in a force that moves beyond our understanding. A force that flows from a divine wellspring, a force that seeks not to condemn us but to make us whole. It's a gift given freely, without merit or measure. Perhaps there is a power at work here that we do not fully comprehend, a healing force known as grace. Let us explore some real-life stories that illustrate the transformative power of grace. Our first story is of a woman named Sarah who carried the heavy burden of regret. She lived in the shadow of past mistakes, feeling undeserving of forgiveness. But grace found her. It whispered to her that she was more than her past, that she was worthy of love and redemption. Sarah embraced grace, letting it mend her broken spirit, transforming her regret into wisdom. She learned to forgive herself, and in doing so, found a sense of peace she had never known before. Next, we turn to the tale of James, a man who had faced unimaginable loss. He felt like he was drowning in a sea of grief, unable to find his way back to the surface. But then, grace gently touched his life. It didn't erase his pain, but it gave him the strength to bear it. It soothed his sorrow, filling his emptiness with a sense of purpose. James learned to draw strength from his loss and found a new perspective on life. Then, we have the story of Maya, a young girl who was bullied and felt alone in her struggle. She felt shattered, her self-esteem in pieces. But grace, in its kindness, found her. It showed her that her worth was not defined by the cruelty of others. Grace stitched together her broken pieces, building a mosaic of resilience and courage. Maya found a new confidence within herself, a strength she never knew she had. Finally, we recount the journey of Sam, who battled a life-threatening illness. He felt defeated, his spirit damaged by the relentless fight. But grace came to him, not as a cure, but as a source of hope. It reminded him that he was not defined by his illness but by the strength of his spirit. Sam found solace in grace, his wounds becoming wells from which he drew resilience. In each of these stories we see a common thread, the transformative power of grace. The healing power of grace works to mend the broken, soothe the sorrowful, and redeem the regretful. It reminds us that we are not crushed, but carried. We are not lost, but found. Even in life's darkest valleys, grace leads us step by step up the mountain of hope. So what can we learn from these stories about the healing power of grace? Grace, in its infinite form, is a healer, a restorer, a transformer. It sees our damaged selves, the broken pieces of our lives, and it brings restoration. It fills our voids with profound meaning, turning emptiness into purpose. Grace is not blind to our mistakes, but it uses them as a tool, teaching us wisdom through our own missteps. And the beauty of grace is this: it allows us to see the splendor in our brokenness, to find a sense of humility in our hurts. It transforms our wounds, those deep cuts of life, into wells of strength. It's from these wells that we draw our resilience, our courage to go on. With grace, we are not defined by damage or defeat. Our wounds become portals where holiness enters in. We are not beyond repair, we are made new.